And welcome back to our video on demand section at WMMBAM.com. Glad you're with us as we take a look today at West Melbourne City Council races. We've invited in for this segment Pat Bentley, John D'Amico, and Stephanie Ely. Bentley and Ely currently serving on council. John D'Amico. John, you've served before?
Yes,
and you're looking to come back on.
Right.
We will note for the record, Pat Bentley and Stephanie Ely are not here. You may read into that what you choose about candidate appearances here. But, John, thank you for taking the time. I'm glad you're here.
Good. Thank you, Bill. It's a pleasure to be here and to explain what's, in my estimation, what's happening in the city of West Melbourne.
Tell me a little bit about your previous experience on council. What experience do you bring to the table that you want to bring back to the city of West Melbourne?
Okay, to begin with, I have years of experience in as far as the public service is concerned. I was a high school teacher. I served in the military for combined active duty and National Guard and Reserve for 34 years. I served as a state senator in Rhode Island for 7 terms from 1975 to 1988. I've been on. I was the deputy majority leader for my second to the last term. And I had a great influence in some of the positive legislation that was passed in that state.
So you played around politics a good bit of your life then?
Yeah, and I was also a sort of a ward committee person, and I helped people win, and sometimes I lost. But for the most part, I've got a pretty good record in serving the public and picking the winners.
Why jump into city politics when you've had that level of experience on a state level? What about city politics attracts you?
Well, city politics is very interesting now, especially in a small city. I'm using my experience and my background and my retirement to spend the necessary time to do a good job for the city. Because of my service, I'm able to do the proper research and come out hopefully with the right answer for the people of the city. And I've done that on numerous occasions. I can name a couple of things right now. For instance, I along with the people in the Hollywood Boulevard corridor, got together. And we were concerned about the traffic safety problems in the area. The first one that we took care of was the Hollywood and Henry intersection, which needed some vast improvements. But since that improvement was made, it's been tremendous. The traffic is flowing 100% better than the past. The second one was we were instrumental in convincing the county to work on the intersection improvement at 192 and Hollywood at Barnes & Noble. As a result of that improvement, there is rarely a backup in that area, and that was, again, another great improvement. And the third one we're working on now, which has been approved by the City Council after my initiation to get that done, and funding, which was passed for it, is the right turn lane at the intersection of Hollywood and Fell Road. And in conjunction with that, the county is going to widen the road slightly there and make 2 right turns coming in from the south and the north. And also, there will be a signal light at that area. Interesting
thing about city politics is you're dealing with things that impact people in their daily lives. I think that's the important part of this.
Well, we're close to the people. I receive a lot of calls and requests for things. When I was the councilman 2 years ago here, and as a result of actually, it's my fault. I lost the election by 26 votes. I thought I had it made. And, in fact, many people thought I had it made because they come up to me after and they said, John, we thought you were going to win. That's why we didn't vote. So
that's got to be disappointing.
Now you know why every vote counts.
At the moment you get to 27 on that count, it's like,
Right.
All right. Let's talk about some of the issues facing the city of West Melbourne right now. One of the big things that's happened over the last year is the removal of longtime police chief and dear friend of mine, I'll acknowledge that off the front, Brian Locke, one of the most honest and hardworking men that I've known in my law enforcement career or thereafter, and I've got a lot of respect for Brian. Yet because of the structure of city government, that police chief reports to all 7 city council members as his department head. So he's got 7 Medusa heads to report to as opposed to 1 city manager or 1 strong mayor, which is not the form of government we have. I thought it was a miscarriage of justice. I thought you have people who don't know or understand police work trying to involve themselves in the department for political purposes. Give me your perspective on that.
Well, this started when I was serving 2 years ago, and it was started over a contribution that was given to Councilman Bill Metrick when he was running for mayor. And unfortunately, we all make mistakes. The contribution was given to him in cash. And when he detected the mistake that was made, anything over $50 should be in a check form. When he detected that mistake, he immediately returned the money to the contributor. Mm-hmm. Okay, and hopefully, we hope that would end it.
That contributor, a civilian employee of the police department.
Yes, okay. And unfortunately, that snowballed into a reason why some members of the council, in particular, Councilman Haslett and Councilwoman Ely, who spearheaded the move to fire the chief over that. Okay, they may use another reason. They may use the issues in the drug evidence room, but that was all clarified by the attorney, the county attorney. And
when the state's attorney declines to prosecute,
the state's attorney,
you've got to.
And we have no case
there,
and we have that in writing.
Absolutely.
Okay, and also he was backed by the city manager at the time for following the correct procedure and helping that person who needed help.
Right.
Okay, but since that time, there's been a suit against Mr. Metrick, and it's still ongoing, and he may pay a fine anywhere up to $10,000 because of that contribution. Okay,
even though he returned it.
Even though he returned it. And he's waiting for the disposition of that particular issue. Mm-hmm. The chief, in my estimation, that was a strong political move on a couple of members of our council who just months earlier praised the chief up and down, and every single report they made on his evaluations had him walking on water, which he was good. He was a great chief. Mm-hmm. He did everything for the city. He had his heart in the city. He was a great negotiator for the police department. And as a result of his firing, the police rank and file have decided to go union. And who can blame him for do that?
You know what? I encouraged him on this program, and I encouraged the new chief not to take the job. I encouraged everybody to run away from this job, because when you have a council that acts like that for political purposes, and I don't care what Stephanie Ely or Michael Hazlett say, that's exactly what occurred here. And it's wrong, and it's a dangerous place for people who are in a dangerous job to be anyway. It's not worth the risk.
I just hope this reflects in the election coming up on November 6th, and we need a definite change.
Let's talk about top priorities for the city of West Melbourne as far as you're concerned. What's the biggest issue you see the city facing right now?
Well, I see it's ethics in on the city council and the way the council has been running. I think that contributes to some of the problems we have. When we see a city council voting to close the police station without public input between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., there's something wrong with that. And
let's go ahead and tie these issues together, because that $47,000 they save will also pay for the premiums for Ely Care, which is health insurance awarded to the city council by a vote of the council recently.
Exactly. I was going to mention that also, that they voted for health benefits to themselves, and that is wrong. I think it's a violation of the charter, but it's been interpreted differently by the city attorney, and I think he's wrong in this instance.
Is there a challenge procedure for that? Could a citizen challenge that?
A citizen could challenge that, yeah.
Okay.
I think the challenge right now is what I plan to do, as far as my platform is. I plan to, hopefully we have 4 people to do it after the election. I want to repeal that. The city council does not deserve health benefits, especially being part-time, and especially into this economic situation. We just can't afford it, and the economy doesn't show.
One of your opponents at a debate I moderated with you guys said it was an enticement to draw better candidates to council and to have good people running. I'm thinking those kind of folks already have jobs that have benefits anyway. But
right. Well, that's initially about 3 years when this came about. I felt that way also, but I changed my mind after doing some research on it. And at that time, it was told to us by the health care provider that we could not enter the program being part-time. But apparently over the years, it's been a change, and now they can do it. And I think it's a travesty.
Most plans don't allow part-time employees. That's very true.
And that's very expensive.
How about the city's interaction with the citizens? You've mentioned the fact that they closed that police department down overnights and on weekends, so you can't walk into the police building. And I think that's a dangerous thing, being a former policeman myself. What about other interactions with cities? How about business-friendly or unfriendly things like code enforcement or use of CRA dollars for certain things? Give me your take on those issues. As
far as CRA is concerned, I have to admit I am not totally in favor of the procedure on that, because there's been misuse in plenty of areas in that regard. But I'm very confident in the people we have on the administrative level working on new businesses and so forth. And so far, they've done pretty good. We just, the city just took in Lowe's into the city the other day. They were brought into the city. And that was a good move. And that was part of CRA, too, that procedure. But as far as the future is concerned, I would be very careful into it and would weigh it very heavily, because I'm not a fan of CRA. And but as I said, I think the city is doing a good job in that regard at this point.
That this one's being handled right now.
It is. Yeah.
Let's talk about signage for businesses. Every community you go to in Brevard County, there are sign restrictions on businesses that keep them from attracting people to their businesses or featuring things that they're doing that might attract people to their business. Is code enforcement doing okay in West Melbourne, or is there a problem?
I think at this time there is very little problem on the signage. They've relaxed some of the regulations, and I think they've been changed to accommodate the businesses in the city. And I really don't have an issue with that in West Melbourne at this point.
What about budget and taxes right now? That's a big issue for every city. Give me your quick view on those, please.
Well, budget and taxes, my aim is to keep the taxes low as possible. In fact, my aim originally was not even to add the property tax, because it was in that charter that there was no property tax in the city. But at the time, the charter was overridden as researched by our legal department. But that said and done, we want to keep that as low as possible. But we have to bear in mind there are other taxes that are involved. We have utility taxes, we have including the water and electrical and so forth. And there's numerous other impact fees for developers. And as you know, impact fees are passed down to the person that buys the property.
Absolutely.
So who benefits on that? So we have to be very careful in that area.
Let's talk a little bit. This is a 6-person race with 3 seats to be filled, correct? So voters can vote for a maximum of 3. What distinguishes you from the other crowd of folks that are running? If you were going to say, here's why you're voting for me as opposed to somebody else, what is it?
They will find in me that I will vote according to the wishes of the people of the city of West Melbourne. I have no personal agenda. I will do my best to respond to questions, criticisms, and anybody that calls me will get a response from me. I would hope that people would get themselves involved more so in the city now than ever before. And I will work with the people in all the departments of the city to make the city better. I will also encourage, hopefully, growth of business. I would hope to get those buildings filled back up on 192 corridor that are empty right now, and keep the city clean and neat, and make sure our infrastructure is corrected.
For voters who want more information or would like to contact you about your campaign, what's the best way for them to reach you or to learn more about you?
The best way, if you don't have a computer, my phone number is 726-9888, or you can check my website at johndamico.com.
Spell it for him, please.
JOHNDAMICO.com.
Very good. John D'Amico, thanks for taking the time this morning, and we'll see what happens as this campaign continues.
Good. Thank you very much, Bill.
You're more than welcome, and thanks to you for being here at WMMBAM.com. More to come. Keep checking the page.